It is the 2000s, and the sixth generation of video games has begun. To many, it's a new generation of games, but to the consoles themselves, it was war. War that some walked in thinking they would win, but to many, they would never come back home. Sega, Sony, Nintendo all sent out their best soldiers, the GameCube, the Dreamcast, and the PlayStation 2. During this point in time, Dolby, a partner of Sony, created the newest weapon in Sony's arsenal, the digital versatile disc. Gone were the days of VHS playback and having to worry about a player eating the tape. Now it was just a plastic puck that you could simply throw on and play. The only problem was that most players were expensive. The PS2, however, wasn't. And that was the advantage. It mercilessly, without any second thought, shot down the Dreamcast, only leaving it to live for so long until it died on its own accord. The Dreamcast couldn't play DVDs, and it also didn't have nearly as tight of security as the PS2 did. So the Dreamcast was left to die on its own, until a helping hand showed up. And that helping hand was a newcomer. One that all competitors never thought would show up. That competitor was Microsoft and its newest project, the Xbox. Much like the PlayStation 2, it could play DVDs, and it had a workaround, so Microsoft wouldn't see a sales loss every time a unit was sold. It lifts the Dreamcast up and holds it while fighting off against Sony, using Sega's exclusivity and the utilities of its own to fight. And while it may have only gotten second place in the generation, it instilled fear into the enemy. Sony may have won this generation, but they certainly weren't going to win the next, not without a fight. And it seemed like there was a very bright future ahead for the Xbox. An incredibly bright one. One that I could see nothing wrong happening. Okay, fine, you win. Not everything was all sunshine and rainbows over in Xbox land. Fuck off! Today's episode of Freeplay has been sponsored by me. No, I'm serious. Real talk though, Metaglyph is not doing so hot. It's a single-man operation, and just now have we got a new editor, Sailor to Kiko, and we'll be getting a new host for NetSurf real soon. So stay tuned for that. But as a one-man operation, doing most of the editing and whatnot for H5 and G Forever, it's pretty stressful. The only way you can streamline and speed that up is by subscribing to Metaglyph on Patreon. Link is in the description, link is on the screen. Please consider supporting us so that way we can make things faster and not abandon one network or the other. Thank you.
Kevin, I think we're live. No, you're...
Part 1. The Box. with an X on it. In 2001, Microsoft finally unleashed the Xbox to the world. I, however, was born in 2005, so I never got to experience the console in its heyday. When I was born, they literally threw a Game Boy Advance SP at me and called it a day. And I turned out fine. Of all the consoles I grew up with, the most I could really say I've experienced was the Xbox 360. So I decided to fix that by buying an original Xbox in 2022 after finishing my shift at a video game store, which was just an internship, but it was the best damn internship I ever had. Since then, I've actually learned some really cool things about this console. Like, for example, if I were to take an audio CD like this and put it into the system, I could actually put it on the hard drive and play it off the Xbox, like so. As soon as you put the disc in the Xbox, it'll recognize it's an audio CD, and then you can copy it to the hard drive. Just hit select all, then hit copy, and then select new soundtrack, and type in your soundtrack name. Okay, so the album name was too big, so I shortened it down. Now we wait. Come on, any second now. Oh wow, it's done! Another cool feature is not only can you save the CD tracks to your hard drive, but you could also use your hard drive's saved tracks in games like GTA Vice City or Tetris Worlds. There's a whole list of supported games that do support custom soundtracks. But personally, my favorite thing about this music player is the fact that they took from Windows Media Player on Windows XP and actually implemented it perfectly into the Xbox. I mean, look at this.
Check it out, baby girl, you left me. Oh no, we broke up, and it's been a while since we last spoke, but I need another chance, can you give me that? Cause there's something in my pants, I could win you back. I wanna be your man again. But you left me like I'm Jennifer Aniston, and I know you said you never call, but girl, you ain't seen my balls.
If you thought the music choice was weird, this is actually just an excuse for me to say, Ray William Johnson, please bring your favorite Martian back. You literally got the rights back, don't abandon it. But my Xbox wasn't always like this. There were actually some constant issues, and, well, I was initially going to do this episode and other episodes emulated through XMU. And then somebody told me, why don't you just play on actual hardware? Well, I tried. This was the result.
Round 1. Fight! Denied. Round 2. Round 3.
Oh, you fucking dick!
Round 4.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
Do you remember that banned Xbox commercial? The one where a lady gives birth so violently the baby's sent fucking flying and then grows old in midair and crashes into a grave? Yeah, I think Microsoft did a pretty damn good job predicting where their console's going to be within the next 25 years. Now watch them raise the prices of their consoles in response to this. All seemed hopeless until I just threw my Xbox at my brother and told him to fix it. He fixed it! But then came a wave of more bullshit. So, part 1.5. Fighting with the Xbox! So initially, my Xbox was modded with Unleash X, as you can see in the video proof here, but that was a fucking problem. You see, in order to connect to Insignia Live, my computer shares my internet connection through Wi-Fi, through broadband, to the Xbox, which seems perfectly fine until you realize, oh shit, I've been using Unleash X. The problem with that is that it conflicts with the MS dashboard, or the static Microsoft dashboard. So every time you boot into Unleash X, it overwrites the settings to whatever it is, no matter what you do, and you can't connect to Insignia. So when it tells you you have to troubleshoot, you go to troubleshoot, and you fix the settings there, but then when you try to go back to the game, it boots you into Unleash X, meaning the cycle is constantly repeating and there is no absolute fix for it until you finally realize, fuck this shit, it's too tired. XBMC for gamers. Solve the problem. Ever since I switched dashboards, I have had no need to troubleshoot my connection. I have had a seamless, smooth connection to Insignia since then. So clearly, it is something with Unleash X. To whoever developed it, I hope there is a special place in hell for you. Part 2. The key! In 2004, Jay Allard would welcome everyone to Xbox's E3 presentation, where they would reveal a bunch of things, like Xbox's newest and overambitious plan for video chat.
Peter, you call those guns?
Yeah, these are guns, baby. I'll show you later.
All right, Peter, I'm going to see you on stage. Jenny, I want to see you backstage, baby, all right?
If you tried that kind of shit today, the internet would tear you limb from limb. It's wow. But most especially, they announced Xbox Live Arcade. Basically, what Xbox Live Arcade was a series of live service games that offer demos for each game, which you don't really get to see a lot nowadays. A lot of them were mostly retro titles like, say, Namco Vintage or the Midway Collection, but there were a bunch of indie offerings and other popular offerings from publishers like Nevosoft and PopCap. The whole shtick was that you could try these games for free, but they really wanted you to buy them and utilize the Xbox Live features, which is a whole nother load of bullshit because they actually force you to use Xbox Live, which back then was a subscription service that you had to fork over money for. Not only that, but you had to have a dedicated broadband router so that way you can connect your damn Xbox to the internet. But not only that, most games require you to even have an Xbox Live account in order to save your game because they don't bother to save your game to the hard drive. Meaning if you have no Xbox Live account or no internet connection, have fun saving your game because you can't. Why? This is basically a miniature prototype version of the video game industry we see nowadays where you own fucking nothing. The fucking warning signs were there and y'all just didn't even notice. But now it's my job to go through all 26 Xbox Live Arcade games from A to Z. So, let's go. Part 3. The games from A to Z.
That is insanity!
For the record, this is all recorded on official hardware on an HDMI adapter, so, yeah, there's that. Alien Sky. It is what it looks like. Quite literally just a Galaga clone with some extra steps to it. On top of that, shitty midis, because of course, you can't have a quote-unquote arcade game without midis.
Holy shit. It's Nirvana.
I mean, we learned that the hard way. What else can I say other than Namco did it better? This game gets a 2 out of 5. Astropop by PopCap Games. What else is there really to say that hasn't already been said about this game on this show? You take the blocks, you stack them in rows of 4 or more, try and do chains, and try not to... Literally, what else is there to say that hasn't already been said? I'm giving it the same rating as PopCap Hits Volume 1, a 2.5 out of 5. Animators. Animators? I don't fucking know. Same shit, different formula. Though it seems this time, instead of copying Galaga, they've decided to copy Space Invaders. With the only major difference being that in this game you can collect these weird little radioactive symbol coins to collect missiles. Collect 4 red ones, you get right swing. Collect 4 yellow ones, you get something. You get the gist. It's basically the missile system. It's stupid. It really is. 2 out of 5. Bank Shot Billiards. It's pool, but it actually supports native 720p, so that's cool. The game's fun and all, especially with friends, but the computer kept kicking my ass. I genuinely thought I was cooked here for a second, until this happened. Yeah, you thought you won, huh? Suck my dick. Easily a 3 out of 5, but one of my personal favorites. Bejeweled Deluxe. One of PopCap's first games after rebranding from to PopCap Games. It's the same as it is on PC, just now with Xbox Live leaderboards. 3 out of 5. Bookworm Deluxe. The game you can't buy anymore because EA Games says so. A prime example of...
It's my IP to sit on and do nothing with.
Basically, you match words together, let the bookworm eat those words, and also occasionally try to keep the library from setting itself on fire. It's a simple little spelling game that can get kind of addicting at times, but for the most part, it's the same as Bejeweled, the same old PC game, just that it utilizes the Xbox Live leaderboard system. I'll let it slide though because it's relatively fun and give this a 3 out of 5. And as for the reason why the game disappeared, EA has not given any reason, so your best bet is only to get the Game Boy Advance or DS version, mod your Xbox to get the Xbox Live Arcade version, or just fuck it, pirate the game, here's the key. PopCap and EA aren't gonna do shit to me. They practically don't want this game to exist to begin with. Ruckus Buck's Dangerous Minds. It's Minesweeper, but fancy. Can you tell I suck at it? Because I sure as hell can't. 2 out of 5. Dino and Aliens. That dino is not playing shit. It's a cute Bomberman-like game where you have to fend off against a horde of aliens and solve puzzles. It's relatively nice, but it's definitely a game that I think was marketed to kids. The description on the menu doesn't necessarily help either. Help Dino defeat the fork-wielding shorty, hard-hitting bouncer, and lots more extraterrestrial meanies. To me, it feels like they're kind of personally patronizing the player and making them feel stupid. I don't like it. But otherwise, if you look past the description and the story, it's a relatively enjoyable puzzle-solving game. 2.5 out of 5. Feeding Frenzy, a PopCap game that's actually an arcade game. I just found this out. Basically, you play as a small fish, and your objective is to eat smaller fish to grow, and then eat bigger fish and progress through levels like that. It eventually gets redundant pretty quick, but somehow fans of Xbox Live Arcade fucking love it. Apparently they loved it enough that it passed over to the next generation on the 360. Despite being redundant, it is still pretty fun, so I'll give it a 3 out of 5 and go from there. Not long ago, the peaceful TV-loving planet of Fuzzyland changed forever. A rainbow meteor from the far reaches of outer space smashed into their home. The meteor shattered into millions of colorful blocks, raining debris throughout the land. The troublesome blocks continue to rain down today, polluting the environment of Fuzzyland, scrambling the TV reception, and causing a radiation sickness, the dreaded fuzzy fever. Fuzzy Fever, from what I've played, is just a simplistic puzzle game with cute little characters that seem a little too happy about their demise. Solve puzzles alone or with friends and survive. That's pretty much it.
All clear.
It's cute, it's fun. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Gauntlet. It's the same as the arcade game, just with some renewed textures. I don't like the renewed textures, but I like the arcade game itself. When you play on Xbox Live, you can't add any more health to your character. When you die, it's literally game over. If one player dies, you have to finish the level for them. All players will return from the dead when a new level starts. I like the concept, but at that point, just buy Midway Arcade Treasures. 2 out of 5. Guardian. It's a Defender clone. I think it's not only shameless, but also pretty self-explanatory. 2 out of 5. Hamster Ball. A Raptosoft game without PopCap's blessing. That's neat. It's basically if you took Marble Madness and Super Monkey Ball and put them in the same room together to mate. It's relatively fun and encourages speedrunning. I'd give this a 4 out of 5. Hardwood Solitaire 3. Despite the name, there's thousands of card games to play from. The only problem is that I never learned how to play any card games. But I'm sure it's perfect for someone out there. I'm not rating this. Joust. What else can I say other than it's Joust? Hey, did you know in 2021 Warner Brothers was actually considering making a Joust animated cartoon? They canceled it and only left an intro. It got leaked. Had they actually gone through and made the pilot, or at least a show thereof, we could have actually seen Warner Brothers acknowledge Midway Games past Mortal Kombat, or the last time they actually touched it was LEGO Dimensions with whatever the fuck this was. Just remember they only bought it for Mortal Kombat. They would literally throw anything else out if they had the chance. What the hell was I doing again? Oh yeah, Joust is perfectly fine. It's an easy 4 out of 5. Marble Blast. It's basically like Super Monkey Ball, but with easier challenges. Though, I will say, do be warned, Insignia players, this game, when it tries to log in, may or may not brick your Xbox. So, be careful. What else can I say except it was well received, it warranted a sequel on the 360, 3 out of 5. Miss Pac-Man. It's a free game. It comes with most people's arcade DVDs, so I can't necessarily complain, but, like, at the same time, you could have just bought Namco Museum. Regardless, it's an easy 4 out of 5. Mutant Storm. I don't know why the audio is designed to be ear-bleed-inducing, but whatever, I guess. It's basically a twin-stick shooter game in the vein of Robotron 2084, but every so often it spices things up with different things. I couldn't bother to continue further. It's too much of a trip. 3 out of 5. Namco Vintage. It's 3 games in 1 pack. Dig Dug, Galaga, and Pole Position. They all play relatively well, but again, like I said with Miss Pac-Man, you could have bought Namco Museum. For about $3 more, you could get these games and a bunch more, and a bunch of arrangement games as well. But whatever, fuck it, it's your wallet, not mine. 3 out of 5. Orbs. It's basically golf, but with a few extra steps. It's better with friends or bots, but it's still relatively fun. I'd give this maybe a 3.5 out of 5. Hell yeah. Pipeline. It's basically Pipe Dreams, but without all that 3D garbage or the terrible cutscenes. It's fun if you want a little puzzle game that is unique and isn't the same old crap. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Ricochet Lost Worlds, another game that supports native 720p. It's essentially a clone of Breakout, but it's still pretty cool. What I like most about it is the fact that the triggers can be used like a paddle, because it makes sense to play Breakout with a paddle. It feels really responsive, and I like that in a game. What else can I say other than it's a pretty nice entry in Xbox Live Arcade? It's a pretty decent 4 out of 5. Robotron 2084, the game that inspired Postal, is now on Xbox Live Arcade with improved graphics and a weird way to play multiplayer. You have 2 ways to do multiplayer. You can either do turns, where if you die, player 2 takes control, or the other way is player 1 moves your character around and player 2 fires, which is bound for chaos, especially if you're playing on Xbox Live, where you can't necessarily coordinate as easy as, say, being there in person. Regardless, Robotron's a personal favorite, so I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5. Smash TV. One of the games I'm surprised didn't inspire Postal is also available on Xbox Live. The game is just about the same as every other release on Xbox Live Arcade from Midway. If you die, you can continue, and if the other person dies, they can continue as well. But if you both die, it's game over. Your objective is to survive a labyrinth of rooms and get to the boss, which is often the Mutoid Man, all the while collecting prizes, money, and other goodies along the way. It's a solid game. It's also uber violent, which is very reflective of the 90s. It gets a 5 out of 5 personally. It's really fun. But I would also say, just buy Midway Arcade Treasures if you want to play this game. It's a lot better. Plus you get a bunch of other good games along the way. It's just not worth it. Super Collapse 2. It's one of those games where you break blocks in rows of 3 or more before they reach the top. If they reach the top, it's game over, obviously. The game makes you think strategically, which, funnily enough, is also a mode of its own. You get 3 bonus modes in the full game, so that way you can flex those brain muscles instead of letting them rot away by watching YouTube shorts or Instagram reels if you're a freak. Overall, it's a pretty fun game. If you love puzzle games, you'll love Super Collapse 2. I give it a 4 out of 5. Think tanks. Your brain in a tank. Get it? Real talk though, this game's actually really fun. It reminds me of Battlezone, but it's a lot more complex. It's definitely a lot more fun with online friends, but it's still relatively enjoyable with bots. I'd personally give this game a 4.5 out of 5. There's certainly things that could be improved on, but it's a solid title nonetheless. And if you could still buy games off of Xbox Live Arcade, this would certainly be one I'd be willing to spend money on. Zuma, a game about ancient balls. What's so funny? I'll fucking kill you! It literally is just a game where you match colored balls in rows of 3 or more, and try not to reach the skull pit, but also try and get chains and combos, while also picking up power-ups along the way. This game has strangely been a childhood classic of mine, and up until playing this, I could never find a comfortable way to play this on a controller until I played it on Xbox. Sure, the Duke could use some improvements, like the buttons themselves, but the joystick felt really responsive. The whole game did. Better than PSP, that's for sure. Overall, I give this a 3 out of 5. It's a good game, but it's not for everyone. And now that I think about it, I still find it hard to believe that Mitchell Corp really wanted to sue PopCap over this. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, they made a whole category for strategy and sim games, but there's nothing there. How embarrassing. And that's all the games. All 26 of them. What a wild ride it was, too. For an experimental platform that tried to break new ground, it certainly did relatively well, especially for their first time. Of course, everybody knows Xbox Live Arcade would evolve for the 360 and offer a bunch more indie offerings. Some good and some worth forgetting. But at the end of the day, I gotta give Xbox Live Arcade some credit, as it was the first service to really do something like this, where you could download games and play online with friends. And while, yeah, many services for, say, the Atari 2600 and other consoles tried to use the downloadable idea, it just didn't do well until later generations when games were bigger and more accessible. At the same time, if it wasn't for this service, walking in, I didn't know about games like Dino and Aliens, or games like Ricochet, or even games like Hamster Ball. It's introduced me to a lot of new things, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm sure somebody else out there has had the same experience walking into Xbox Live Arcade. And it evolved into something far better until, well, sadly, when the Xbox One was announced, they essentially killed everything off. But then again, seeing where Xbox is going, I don't think too many people will be mourning the loss of Xbox Live Arcade, rather the console they once grew up with, because it's a shell of what it used to be. Thanks, Microslop. But the fact that we all came together and watched, or rather looked back on all the games on Xbox Live Arcade from the original, it shows that even if Xbox is to die one day, they simply can't take away what they once were. People will remember that. People will forever cherish that. And that itself is more powerful than anything Microsoft will do to Xbox. And that's the thing I want you to take away from all of this. No matter what Microsoft does to Xbox, you can always go back to when Xbox was good and fun. You'll have a whole community by your side. Revival servers on standby. They can sure as hell kill the brand, but they can never kill the idea. So maybe it's time you dust off that old Xbox in the basement and play again, because sure as hell, this industry is not going to get any better. So it's best to just look at the past. And thank you all for watching. Next time, well, let's just say I have some beef with a series of video games. I'll get back to you next time. Till then, this has been Freeplay. Thank you for being patient. I'm sorry it's taken Thank you for being so patient over the year or so it's been without an episode. And I'm sorry that it's taken that long to make a new episode. I've finally been getting into a new routine, so hopefully more is on the way. So stay tuned, and until we meet again, folks, shebang!